All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
Good evening,
Esther.
ma'am.
Good evening, Bolane. Good evening, Nena. Good evening, Chamaka Francis. Good evening to everyone who is on the call today. I see Oga and I don't know your name, but that's like what you used to say your number. Good evening to you. Welcome to today's class. And if you know anybody who is supposed to be on this call and the person is not yet here, please nudge them. They should join the call. We are about to start, and they would not want to miss what we are doing today, right? They will not want to miss what we are doing today. So keep joining, keep joining. Let's urge every other person to join, right? So I'm just going to do like a quick recap of what we did yesterday while others joined. Then just 5 minutes to do the quick recap and go straight to what we have today. So Nena, also watch out for our chat so that you can help us, and any other person who wishes to help us with coordinate things, people who will not see the join button, you can direct them to join, and related questions. Okay. Then I also noticed that some of us find it very hard to use their LinkedIn to share their and very sure that the organizers are taking note of this and they're going to sort out every issue that every one of us are facing. So just calm down. It's never too late. You can document it, write down the things you share. And by the time we have that call, then you get it all sorted out, right? So please confirm that you can see my screen. I'm trying to do like a quick recap of what we did the last time. Please, can you see my screen? Okay, so you
Yes,
can see my
ma'am, I
screen.
can see.
Yes, the last time, which was on Tuesday, 6, right? All right. We introduced ourselves to data analytics and talked about the theories behind what we do, behind the dashboard, behind fancy dashboard that people build, right? We talked about foundations of data analytics, defined data analytics, and the difference between data analytics and data analysis. So we say that data analysis is just like a chunk, a part of the bigger picture, right? We differentiated between data, information, and insights. Data is raw, information is processed, and insight is the recommendation that you give. Then we talked about the core concepts, types of data. We have the types of data, quantitative data and qualitative. When you talk about quantitative, you are talking about something that is measurable. Qualitative describes. We also gave examples. We have numerical data, textual data, visual, right? And there are data formats such as structured data, semi-structured, structured. And we also talked about types of data analytics, diagnostic, prescriptive, descriptive, and what's the other one? There are 4 of them: diagnostic, prescriptive, descriptive, and predictive, right? Then the data analysis process involves you collecting data, cleaning it, analyzing it, and then making sense of it. So that was like the whole of the piece we covered the last time, and I've made available the slides that we used so that if you have not gone through it or you're having any difficulty, please you can go through it and drop your questions and we'll be sure to handle it. So we also did like a small introduction to Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is one of the tools that data analysts do use. It's like the most popular tool. It has been here for ages and it will still be here. Because the truth is that most organizations, this is what they use, right? Because Microsoft Excel is versatile, it's easy, it's beginner friendly, it is easy to learn, and it does not require special installation. Once you have your Microsoft suite installed, you are good to go with Microsoft Excel. And today we are getting hands on. If you have checked our curriculum and the schedule, you see that what we have today is data cleaning and wrangling in Excel, right? So I will just like share my screen back to the Excel sheet so that we can start out immediately. So at any point, if you feel you are not hearing what I'm saying or that I'm too fast, you want me to reduce the pace or that it's too technical, please use the chat box. I would see the message and I will I will slow down, right? If you feel that we are too fast, you're not following, there's something you're missing out, please ask the question. Any question you have, ask in the chat, and I'll make sure to respond to every one of them, because we are going to be taking like breaks. Maybe like after 30 minutes, we take 5 minute break, answer questions before we move on, so that everybody will be carried along. Okay, then moving on. So I'll just like open our Microsoft Excel sheet. Okay. Okay, guys. So sorry for that. Um, so please, you can check the data set we are using today is already available in the resources. The link I shared, a Google Drive link where the data set we'll be using today is already uploaded there. So if you would like to work with me step by step, I believe that you have your system with you, your pen and your paper, but then it's best you just look at what I'm doing, right? So that you will replicate it on your own later on. The video is here. I'm going to make the video available for you. So, but the data set is already uploaded in our Google Drive. There's a link I shared. Please then you can highlight the link for them. You can click on that link and download the data set. The data set is called Data Transformation CCB. It's an Excel file. So when you download it, you click on it to open it in Excel, and then you can follow along, right? So just go ahead and do that. Right now, I'm sharing my screen, my Microsoft, and we are on Excel already. So like I said before, you can use Microsoft Excel 2013 and above to go for this class, and all of us will be at the same pace. Although what I'm using is Microsoft 2021, but 2013 can actually do, right? So I'm just going to like start afresh from the beginning, just for those who did not join. So what we have here, if you're looking at my screen, you can see my cursor is moving. So you can follow the movement of the cursor to understand what I'm saying. You can't find the data set, it's not possible. If you click that folder, if you click the folder, the data set should be there, right? Okay. I'm trying to check that link out myself so that I'll be sure that the data set is there. So I'll see somebody who is having issues. So I'm just checking it out. So just give me a minute. I just clicked on the link so that I will check it out myself. But I'm very sure that it's been uploaded. Okay, yes, I'm seeing it, right? The link, I'm seeing it. It's called Data Transformation CCB. So it's actually there. So just check well, so that we don't waste time. Okay, I'll back to Excel. So when you look up here, let's start from here on the topmost part. So this topmost part is what is called your quick access toolbar. It is called quick access toolbar. Why? Quick access, that's the things that you normally use, that you access often. That's what is here. If there are things that you are normally using that are not here, that means you can click this drop down, and when you click the drop down, it's going to bring for you a list of options that you can now, maybe I want sorting to be there, I'll click on sorting so that it will appear here, right? But then the truth is that for me, I don't use these things because keyboard shortcuts are faster than me using my cursor to come here and click something. So, but I just wanted to know that this is the quick access toolbar. This one is about saving. This one is for you to undo. This one is to redo. This one is to cut. Then this is to sort from A to Z. Now, this thing you are seeing here, data transformation CCB, is the name of the Excel sheet. If it is not saved, it's going to be writing something like book, because when you open an Excel, you are going to be seeing a blank interface, assuming that we do not open this new one. Once you open Excel, we are going to be seeing a blank interface. That thing is called a workbook, right? So it is called a workbook. So it's either you're saying book 1, book 2, book 3. But then when you save it, it will now bear the name of whatever you saved it with, right? Over here, this is just me, the user of my system. This is for me to minimize. Then this one's to restore down or restore up, your Microsoft Word. Then this one is to cancel it out, go out of this, like I'm done with what I'm doing with Excel, right? By the time you are closing, you should make sure that you saved your work so that you don't lose it. Then moving on, the places we are having here is called the tabs and ribbon section. So this is file. When you click on file, you see all those drop down where you create a new workbook, open, save, and all of that. So if you're actually with your system, you can check these things out. Then there is the home. The home is what you are seeing as the first thing that you will see. So under the home, you have the clipboard section. The clipboard section is just like clipboard, like copy and paste things, copy, paste, cut. That's what you have here. Then here is for the font. How do you format the text? Like this text here, it is actually carrying a font. So if I click these cells now, you see that the font is carrying its Aptos arrow. I can change this font to any one I want, just like you would do in a Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, right? Then this one is the font size, which it can increase or decrease. Then you can also increase the font size using these two things. So I will not dwell much here because this is what we are seeing on Word. So I will have time to go into the technical parts. So this for alignment. And yesterday we talked about what text wrap and merge means. So because I cannot be going back and forth, you can check out our yesterday's video, which will be available after the class, and see what text and merge does for us. We also talked about this number. This place is to format numbers. Then we are going to use it when we start working with these data sets. Then this is for conditional format. I think we also touched here. So I'm just like, then if you click on the insert, there are so many things for you to insert. You can insert pictures, you can insert table, you can insert what is called pivot table, which we will get week 2. I think in week 3, we are going to be touching on pivot table. Then recommended charts for dashboard and visualization and all of that. This is slicer timeline. We are going to explore all of that. Then this is to draw. Normally I don't use this most times. Then page layout. I'm just trying to give you a quick overview of what the ribbons and tab contains. We are going to work with them when we start working with data sets. I want to be talking theory, so let me just give you a quick recap. Then this formula is where all the formulas you can think of. Excel is used by different persons. Some functions that we are using is not what an accountant will be using. They were using a more technical stuff. The same thing with people who are heavily into statistics. When I was in school, we used to do chi-square test, add-over test, p-value. So normally in Excel, you are not going to use it because it's normally as a data analyst, you're not using those advanced ones because it's out of the league. So Excel is meant for different purposes. It's not just for an analyst. Accountants still use it and they have their functions. There are engineering functions here. If you look at it says financial. So when you click on this drop down, there are a lot of things that I have never used and which I know I'm never going to use, right? And then that's for formula. Then this data part, we are going to be using this place a lot, right? Then there is the review. So I'm just let's start, and by the time I think the best way to learn is by doing. If I keep telling stories, you might not even know, but when you see me use it, you remember it, right? So we'll just like go into it, and we are trying to work with time. I want us to finish everything about data cleaning and wrangling today. So without further ado, let's start. So now the topic for today is Excel data cleaning. And if you have done your research, which I expect you that you do, that is why you have curriculum, so that when you come to class prepared with questions, you would know that data cleaning, it's like it takes like 80% of what a data analyst does, because the truth is that there are going to be inconsistencies, especially for a real life data set. You put out a Google form, give people to fill, you would see people spelling their names with small letters. The same name, another person will spell it all capital. Another person will spell it in a proper manner. You will tell somebody, write your date of birth. Some people will use 12th hyphen December, that's DEC hyphen. They will not write the year. Others will use 12th slash. So there's so many inconsistencies. And before you can use that data, you must address it. Must, right? So that's like what data cleaning does. Data cleaning is like how to clean your data to ensure accuracy, reliability, and usability of the data before you can now analyze. And we are going to like divide this cleaning into 3. I made sure that the data set you are using here is a simulated data set, meaning that simulated is that you actually created the data set for a specific purpose, like it's generated by you for a specific purpose. If I don't want to use a simulated data set, I could have gone on places like Kaggle, right? So one of the tasks I'm going to give us after this thing is to go on Kaggle and do something. So take notes if you have your pen and paper. Kaggle is a very big repository where people go and like you get data sets for many research work and all of that. And GitHub and other sources where you can get data set. But for the one we are using now, this data set you just downloaded is a simulated data set. So now you know the meaning of simulated data set. You can simulate data by yourself for practice. So you don't need to like wait till you get real life data before you start doing your practice. You can actually simulate data, then practice what you have learned, right? So we are dividing this data cleaning into 3: numerical data cleaning, text data cleaning, and dates, how to clean dates. So we are going to touch like everything that the most frequently seen cases of inconsistencies while cleaning. We are going to touch them. So now let's start. The first thing you are going to do when you have a data set is to first of all manually look at your data. Manually look at your data. Why? You have to understand the data you are working with so that it will help you to know what to do, right? Why? If this data set, like this data set now, if the data set is like a record of sales that was made during a promo season. Now I know that there are promos like giveaway now, buy one, take one free, or buy 5, take one free. So now I know that obviously there are, so Kaggle is spelled Kaggle, Kaggle. So I know that if I am working with a data set that comes from promo sales, those products that we're giving away, their prices are not going to be written, because if their prices are written, then it's not going to tally with the money they are going to realize, something like that. So the first thing you do is to understand your data set. And for this our data set, this is called a sales transaction data set. Then first thing, I'm going to look at the column names. So I have SN. SN is like serial number. The transaction ID, this is a unique identifier. It is called a primary key. So a primary key is a unique identifier. No two products can have the same primary key. It uniquely identifies a product or a person or anything you are talking about, depending. So that's like a primary key. Be taking things down. These are part of the concept that there's primary key, there's foreign key, there's composite key. But for now, let's stop at primary key. So this is like a primary key, that's a transaction ID. Then there is the first name of the person, the last name, the phone number, where the person stays, the product that the person bought, what category does this product fall in, what is the price that it is sold for, what quantity did the person purchase, was the person giving a discount, what's the purchase date, and method that the person purchased with, is it card, cash, transfer. Then the payment, is it pending or has it been already been received? That's the status. So now if you look at this data set, you can see it's all clustered. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I will click on this small arrow here to highlight everything for me. Once it highlights everything for me, I will just put my arrow anywhere. There's lines that demarcate these columns. Remember yesterday we talked about columns and rows. Columns are vertical, rows are horizontal. So there are lines that separate these columns, A, B, column A, column B, column C. And once your cursor is in between any of the lines, to change to a plus. So now when I double click, it will expand these cells to the width of the content of the cells. You can see that before we were not able to see the names of these things clearly, but now we can see them. So how did I do it? Click here, click on any of the demarcating lines to change to plus, double click, and it will open it up to the size. Good. So the next thing now is that I'm going to take a look and see if there are columns and rows that I don't really need, so I'll delete them and get ahead. So if I look at here, I'm seeing this X, this row 1, right? How do I select this thing? Once I click on one, it will select the whole row. If I click on next one to select the whole row, right? So now I'm seeing that this X and X, I don't really need it, so I'll delete it. You can delete by highlighting it, right click and click on delete. Or me, what I use is I just use Control minus. That's like the easiest shortcut. Very simple. Control minus, you delete a column or delete a row. So to delete, you use Control minus. If you want to add, you use your Control Shift, and then that's your keyboard where you have equal to, there's plus on top of it. That's why you're holding Shift, so that the Shift will take the plus. So you Control Shift plus to add columns, Control Shift plus to add columns, Control minus to delete, right? So now this is what I want. I've deleted the rows that I don't really need, so they are all gone. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to turn this thing now into a table. The way it is now, it's not a table. If I turn it into a table, you see the difference. So to turn it into a table, I can go to Home and Format, click on this Format as Table, and I will choose any one I want, any table format I want. But I don't use that thing. I just click on any cell here and I'll click Control T. So I'm dishing out the shortcuts I don't normally use so that you can also be conversant with it and don't waste your time, right? But if you think it's too much for you to learn at this stage, you can be using the Format as Table. You can be using the ribbons and tabs, but I don't think it's too much. So just Control T, and you make sure that this My Table Has Headers is highlighted, is checked. So you check it and you click OK. Right, so now you can see what we are having here. I don't really like this layout, so I'll click on the drop down. I will pick this layout. Nice. So now you can see that there is a difference between what we are having now and what we had before, right? So now I'm back to what we had before. I'm back to what we are having before because I want to do it again. Now, one of the good practices to do is that before you start data cleaning, always duplicate the raw data set. Always duplicate it. Why? So that if anything happens, you still fall back to your original data set. And how do you do this? Well, if I want to duplicate this thing now, like this data, know that this is a sheet. This is another sheet. You can add as many sheets as you want. You can add up to 100 sheets as you want. The same way you have like pages in a book, is the same way you have sheets in a workbook. So this is like sheets. This is a sheet. This is another sheet. This is another sheet. To delete them, you just right click and click on delete. Right click, click on delete. right click, click on delete. I don't really need them, that's why I'm deleting them, but I added them so I can show you how to like add sheets, right? So now to duplicate this thing, you can right click, then click on duplicate, right click on the name of the sheet, and there should be an option for you to move or copy. So you either move or copy to duplicate, but I don't really use that. What I use is control, then this your touchpad, your system. For those that are using mouse, you right click. For those that are using the mouse on their system, the touchpad, you hold down the right button, then drag it to this plus. I'll do that again. So now it has duplicated. We have this original one and we have this one. So I can call this one the cleaning, data cleaning. Are we following? If you are following, just type and following in the section so I'll know if you are following. So we just did duplicating sheets now. If you are following, just drop a comment so that I will know. If you are not following, still drop a comment. All right. Okay. People are following. Nice, 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 nice. If at any point you are not following, please indicate. We want everybody to be carried along. So now we duplicated this column, this sheet, right? And we've renamed it by double clicking on it. We rename by double clicking. The next thing now, let's turn this thing into a table again. So now to turn into a table, remember what you did, Control T, and you make sure that the check button is, you check it and you click OK. By default, it will give you a table style. If you don't like it, you can change it from here. Me, I don't like this one, so I'm going to change it. Nice. So now I've changed it. If you take a look at this sheet now, this data cleaning sheet and this sales transaction sheet, can you see a difference? Here now, it's just plain, nothing can happen. You cannot control it. But here that we have turned into a table, I can control it. How can I control it? I can use this button. It's called the filter. This drop down, I can use it to see everything that is here. Now, if like this product now, I want to see the different products that we have. So I will just click on drop down. I have blender, I have books, I have chair, I have decks, I have earpods, headpods. So those are the products and there are blank spaces. So it's easier for you to control a sheet, a data that is in your table in Excel when it's in a table format than when it is just there. So now if your network is bad, you can log in and log back, log out and log in. So we've converted it to a table, right? So now let's go into cleaning. Remember that I say that we are dividing our cleaning into number, that's numerical, textual, and how to clean dates. So let's start. Now I'm going to take a look at these things, right? And you help me to identify if they are number, that's numerical, or they are not numerical. So when you come to SN, we can fill it up because I purposely left it blank. So on your end now, fill it up with 1, 2. But what if this our data set is up to 1000? Do you keep writing 1, 2, 3 to 1000? No, you don't do that. So what you do is you use flash fill, right? You use flash fill to actually fill down. So how do you use that? Now the class is recorded, so no, don't panic, the class is recorded. So to flash fill, I'll click on this plus and I'll double click. Now it has filled down for me. You can see that as it was filling down, it was just filling 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, but I want it to fill 1, 2, 3, 4 till the end. So what will I do? I will click here, then I will choose the one I want to use. If you click on fill series, it will show 1, 2, 3, 4, which is exactly what we are looking for, right? So you can see that now we have our series. You see how easy it is because of flash fill. If we do not have flash fill in Excel, we will manually be typing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even if your data set is reaching 1 million, use your hand and be writing it. But with flash fill, you can automatically just fill down, right? Good. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to remove duplicates. The next thing is to remove duplicates. Why are we removing duplicates? For instance, if I am a cashier that is handling sales, like I'm the owner of a shop. I have 2 cashiers or 3, like as many as they are, and they used to take shifts. And somebody bought a product, then cashier A recorded that product and she left, but the product was still there when the cashier B came to work, like came to take over shifts. Now, because she don't know that that product has been recorded in the system, she still went and recorded it again. In that case, you see that that information is going to be 2 times in that system. If the third person comes and records it again, it's 3 times. So I'm just giving you instances of what could cause duplicates. And if you work with that thing, it's going to affect. How will it affect? Now, the first person has recorded that a customer bought a product of 5,000 naira. The same product, the next person came and recorded 5,000. The third person came and recorded 5,000. That's 15,000. But when you're counting the money, you realize you have 5,000, which is what you're supposed to have, because it's just 5,000 that person bought. But because it was recorded 3 times, you're having 15,000 on record, but you're having 5,000 in your account. And there's going to be a discrepancy. You start questioning your cashiers. Maybe you start thinking they are stealing from you. So that's why you remove duplicates. So I'm just giving you like instances of why you remove duplicates, how duplicates can occur. So the first thing you do is to check if there are duplicates in your data set. You can check that manually if your data set is not too much, right? Just like what we have here. What we have here is not much. I think we just have like 33 rows. And if I look through these 33 rows, how I'm going to be knowing duplicate is using the primary key. Remember, I said primary key is the unique identifier. So I will look through this primary key. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that 7 is duplicated because this is 7, this is also 7. And there are going to be other ones that are duplicated. 5 is duplicated. 5, 5. So these 2 things are duplicated, right? Now, that's not all. If you look at the transaction ID, you look across the rows and see if they're having the same data set. To see if they're having the same data set. If I look at 5, I have Chinedu Obi. The same 5 is Chinedu Obi. Chinedu Obi has this number and bought shoes. Over here, he still bought shoes. So you can see that it's the same thing. Like it's the same person and the same product that he bought, right? So what will I do now? I'm going to remove duplicates. How will I do that? So let's remove the duplicates. The first thing to do is that you select this data, the table. How do we select table? You can click anywhere in your cell and press Ctrl A. You select all your table, or you can use this drop. This small, there is a small something like triangle here. Once you click it, you select your table. So these are 2 ways you can select your table, right? Then once my table is selected, I will go to my data tab. Right? And you can what I want to use is the remove duplicates column. Like over here, this is supposed to be the remove duplicates, but it's not active. Why is it not active? Because apart from the particular data set we are using, every other thing is highlighted. So I'm just going to use Ctrl A. So now the best option to use in this case is Ctrl A, so that it will just highlight the range. The range, I mean, our data set started from column A to, let's check. We started from column A to column N, right? So what we are selecting should also stop from column A to column N. But if we use this triangle to highlight that, it's highlighting the whole sheet. And that's not what we want. What we just want is highlight the range where the data set is. So you can click anywhere in your Excel sheet. Click on Ctrl A. You have highlighted everything. And now I will go to my I will go over here. Remove duplicates. It's under the tab, under the data tab. If I click on remove duplicate, it's going to give me a drop down, and the drop down is selecting all the column names. Now that is not our interest. You unselect everything, click on unselect all. Now when you click on unselect all, nothing is selected. So which column should we work with? Which column should we work with? The column we should work with is the primary key, because we are interested in those who have duplicate entry. I will just check the transaction ID, which is our primary key in this case, and then you make sure that this my data has header is checked also. Then you click OK. So now you can see it says that 4 duplicate values were found and removed, and now we have 28 unique values remaining. So I will now click OK. Nice. So now let's go back to our table and see if it actually worked. Remember that we had duplicates of the T005, T007. So now let's look through manually and see if it is still there. So you can see that it is no more there, right? It is no more there. Duplicates have been removed. And before, the rows we were having is 33. If you go back to the original data set, it's 33. It's 33. But the one that we've removed duplicates now, it's now what? 29. Meaning that we actually removed 4, right? So that's how you remove duplicates, number 1. Then the next thing to do is, let's say that we want to convert data types to make sure that the data types are okay. What do I do now? Let me go back to my home tab. So now, how do you know the data type? You see my arrow? Watch where I'll place it. I'll place it on top of column A. I've highlighted it now. It's highlighted now. Look over here. You can see it's showing general. General means text, like it's in text format now. And if it is in text format, you cannot add it. You cannot do mathematical operation on it. Now there are things for you to note. Because something is containing number does not mean it must be in number format. How? For any column that you cannot be performing calculation on, you leave it as text. This serial number, we know that we are not going to be using it for any calculation, so I will just leave it as text. So there are cases where you would see numbers that are not going to be used for any calculation. Simply leave it as what? As text. There's no need to change the data type. Now we are going to change them one by one. So we click over here now. This is transaction ID. It's containing both letters and number. Because it's containing a mixed something, right? We are going to leave it as text because it's containing both letters and number. So we'll leave it as general. If you click this drop down, you would see general, number, currency, accounting, short dates, long dates, and all of that. So we are leaving it as general, that's text format. The name is also general, which is text format. The last name is still general, text format. The number, what do you think? In the comment section, do you think this phone number we should change it to a whole number, or we should leave it as text? What do you think? Drop your comments in the section. Should we leave it? Some people are saying we should change it, others are saying we should leave it as text. Okay, I'm seeing text. Yes, text. I'm happy. You are following. We should leave it as text. Why are we leaving it as text? You already know you are not going to be doing calculations on a phone number, so there's no need to change it, right? Only the things you can do aggregation on, mathematical expressions on, is what you change. So we are not changing it. We leave it the way they are. But then we are going to change it just to format it, because the way it is now is not formatted. Some are in this format, others are in this format, others are in this format. But the only reason why we are changing it is that we want to clean it. Other than that, we'll leave it the way it is. So at some point we'll change the data set, or we can even do it now. So let's just change it to number because we want to clean it. I want to teach you people how to clean a data set, how to clean a phone number. Because when you put out a Google form that requires people's phone number, some people will start with +234, then their number. Others will start with 080, then their number. Like so many formats. So how do you clean that? So the first thing to do is I will not change it to number. I'm changing it to number. Remember, not because we are going to do aggregation, but because I want to teach you how to clean a phone number so that everything will look consistent, right? Everything will look consistent. And because it's in a number format now, we can see that since we change it to a number format, it's now giving us decimal places. So how do we remove these decimal places? Still highlight it. Do you know how I am highlighting? I'm highlighting it by placing my cursor on top of that particular column. Then I will left click. It's highlighted now. Then I will go over here, decrease the decimal, right? And now we have whole numbers. We'll leave it at this for now. We are still going to clean it further later on. Then this is where you leave, which is a text. You leave it there. Laptop, text, leave it like that. Category, leave it that way. Price. Now price. Price is showing us general. Is it supposed to be general? Please tell me. Can drop your comments. Is it supposed to be general or we should change it? Good, we should change it because we are going to be doing calculations with the price of the product. So we are definitely changing it. So now we'll change it to number. You can see number, price. Good. So now that we've changed it, it still gave us in decimal places. And we can actually leave it in decimal places because some are having decimals. Let's leave them in their decimal places. The same thing with quantity. Now, assuming you have so many rows that are numbers, do you want to be picking them one by one? No. It's going to waste your time. So what do? You can select them. How? I will select this one. I will hold my control. I will click on top of K. It has selected K, two of them at the same time. And then I will go to general and I'll make them number and I'll reduce their decimal place. Increase it because of this discount. If you reduce it, it becomes 0, 0, everything, right? So now are we having any issues? If you have any issues, drop it in the chat and I'll make sure to see it. So this is the date. The date is still going to be left as general because you're not going to be doing any calculations on them. Then this is your payment method and payment status. So with this, we have changed everything to their correct data type. Okay, how to reduce and increase decimal places. This is it here. This is to increase, this is to decrease, right? If you click here, let me take the price for instance. If I highlight this price column, if I highlight the price column, I will click here. You can see that the decimal places are increasing. To decrease it, you click this particular one. It is what? Decreasing. So that is how you increase and decrease, right? Can we set the price to currency? Yes, you can set it to currency. You can format it to currency. How? So I can use Ctrl+1. Now, if I use Ctrl+1, I'll click currency, right? So over here, you will see symbols, the currency. Because my system is formatted with English, that's it's showing as dollar because it's not formatted in the Nigerian currency, right? So now you can actually set it to any currency of your choice, or you can go to custom. When you go to custom, you can then set it as anyhow you want. So you can use the naira or pounds. So let me change it to say hash for naira or capital N for naira, right? And then I'll click OK. So you can see that it's not one of the inbuilt. So the currency you're selecting must be inbuilt, like one of the inbuilt currency in your system already. So because it's not there, what I can do is that over here beside the price, I can put a bracket, put my capital N, just to show people that these prices are in naira. So that's another way to boycott it. So that anybody who looks at the column head, did I tell you that this is called the column headers? Anybody who looks at it will know that the prices are in naira. So I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, so I think I lost my train of thought. I think we are done with handling duplicates and changing data types, right? So the next thing we do is to clean the phone number. All right, so let's actually clean this phone number. Now, to clean this phone number, we are going to make use of a formula. Okay, before I start, I'm going to add another sheet to explain formula in Excel. Now, these are things I could have just been taking one by one, but if I'm saying it will not really make sense to you unless you use it. And that's the best way to learn. When you use that thing, you know what it does, right? You can't see any join button. Please, somebody should attend to her so that she can join us. Okay, so now we are trying to clean the phone number, and for us to clean this phone number, we are going to use formulas. So before I start with formulas, let me just explain the basic things you need to know about a formula in Excel. So now I'll click this plus to add a sheet. Now, if I write anything in this thing, that's data entry, right? If you're able to fill in your attendance yesterday, that means you performed data entry. You can call yourself a data entry specialist now. If you're able to fill your name into that Google sheet, you enter data into a sheet. There's no other thing about it. So now, you can't see my screen. Is she the only one having this issue, or can every other person see my screen? Please comment, let me see. Is any other person having the same issue, or can you see my screen? Okay, you can see my screen. All right. Okay, so let's just continue. So now we are trying to explain a formula, right? So for Excel to recognize something as a formula, it must come with an equal to sign. It must start with equal to sign. If not, Excel will recognize it as just number. What do I mean? Now, say I have 2 here. Over here, I have 2. And over here, I have 3. This is just number, right? Now, I want to do 2 times 3. I want to do 2 times 3, and I come here and write 2. Remember that times is asterisk, and I write 3. It will return it. It will not do any calculation for me. Why? Because I did not start it with an equal to sign. If I want to perform any calculation in Excel, I must start with equal to sign. So now when I have equal to, I can do 2, and I will put my asterisk 3. Click enter. It will calculate it for me as 6. Do you see the difference? Over here is just 2 asterisk 3. It will return it like that for you because it does not know what you want to do. But once you start it with an equal to sign, you are telling Excel, okay, I want to do a calculation, help me, and you see that my equal to sign is telling me that you want to do a calculation. Please help me and calculate this thing, and to calculate it for you. Now, take notes. You are seeing this, everything I'm doing here, the calculation, you are seeing it here. Meanwhile, if I click here, what you are seeing in the cell is 6, which is the result. But what you are seeing here is the formula I entered, and that is why this place is called a formula bar. Now, if this formula bar is not turned on your system, how would you turn it on? Go to view and click on formula bar. If you disable it, it will go. If you check it, it will show up. So I'm doing calculations now, so I'll leave it like this. If I'm creating a dashboard, I will close it. But once you are doing your cleaning, always leave your formula bar open so that When you perform a calculation, you can see the formula in your formula bar, right? So I think that's the basic thing. So there are so many calculations you can do in Excel. You can use your plus, minus, division. There is mean, median, which I'm going to tell us how to calculate because we are going to talk about it very soon. Mean, median, the mode, and all of that, right? Right? Okay. So now let's get back to our data cleaning. Are we following? Please, if you are following, type I'm following. All right. All right. That's good. That's good to know. So now we are trying to learn how to clean phone number. You can see the inconsistencies we're having in this phone number. Some are starting with 080. Others are starting with 234. Others are starting with plus 234. Others just started as 810. You see that there are so many inconsistencies. But I want everything to start with plus 234. So what do? The first thing I'm going to do is to add another column. Remember how I told you to add another column? If I highlight this one, I hold my Control Shift plus. I've added another column, right? Why am I adding another column? Because I want to write a formula. Right? So now remember, we're starting with equal to sign. I'm going to write this formula and I'm going to explain what this formula does for you. So the formula we are trying to do is that, so we have this equal to sign, and for us to use this formula, I'm going to write out the formula, then I'm going to explain like what this formula is doing for us. So the formula we're going to use is if statement. Like the name says, if something happens, do this. If something does not happen, then do this. So the formula goes like, if, then you open this cell now, you can click on it and it will highlight it here, but it's going to be like very long. So what I normally do, I'll type it out, right? So now this is column E and this is what? Row 2. So it's automatically E2. Can you see? Now, if you look at this, if its logical test is true, you should do something. If it is not true, you should return something. That's this false. So if, then if the left, so I'll just write out the formula so that then I will explain what it happens. So if the formula from here, you should pick the left from the E2. Just calm down. You're going to like explain what is happening here. So we have pick the first 3 numbers from the cell E2. Pick the first 3 numbers from cell E2, and if this number equals just 234, right? If it equals this thing, what should happen? You should replace it with plus. Don't worry, we are going to like explain this thing. So let me continue writing the formula from here. So this is one if statement. This one now is saying, come to this cell E2. Check, look at it, left. From the left, check the first 3 numbers. It will check this one, 080. If the first 3 number is starting with 234, replace it with plus. So that's what just happened here. And then concat it. Concat is this ampersand. I'm still going to go over it again. So just calm down and take it in one by one. Concat is the ampersand, right? So if this thing happens, replace it with plus and concat it with E2, right? Then, if that is not the case, you should do something else. Remember, if this is true, do this. If it is not true, do another thing. So if this is not the case, then we use another if. You should also check the left number from E2, the first 3 again. right? Are we following? Please react. I need to get reactions. Do you understand the first if? Okay, somebody's saying omo, meaning that it's confusing. Don't worry, we are going to. Okay, peace doesn't understand. Remember, I said data analysis, you work with number, right? And you work with formula. But you don't need to understand everything at a go. It's step by step. I know that this is it's meant to be beginner friendly, but at the same time, we don't want to crawl, right? We don't want to crawl, we don't want you to just relax as a beginner. Tomorrow you should be able to tell somebody I can use if statement in Excel. I know what it does and I can use it. So that's why like we're introducing this thing step by step as we go along. I'm still going to go over the formula again. So this is the first if for now. Remember, this one is saying if, first of all, it checks the inner part and says that you should go to this cell E2, go to the cell E2, right? Pick the three numbers from the left. Pick three numbers from the left. What happened? If that three number from the left is equal to 2, 3, 4, replace it with plus and concat it back, like add it up to the main number. If that is not the case, you should do another thing, right? That's if we start again. Pick the left E2. Okay, let me just write the formula, then I'll explain it. Okay, so I'm going to like take the formula step by step and break it down for every other person to understand. So now the first thing you should do is that, first of all, do you know what is the E2? Do you know what is the E2? The E2 is like, this is column A, where our phone number is, and this is the row 2. So the intersection is the E2. That's this number here that is highlighted. That's the number one thing. Then he says if the first character, the first three characters are plus 2, 3, 4, that's what this first if is doing. If you check, this is 080. So the first three characters here are not plus 2, are not 2, 3, 4. So the first if is not going to work for this one. We are trying to cover all the cases. We are trying to cover all the cases that we have here. We have the case where it is starting from 080. We have a case where it is starting from plus 2, 3, 4. We have a case where it is starting from just 2, 3, 4, right? And so we're trying to cover all the cases. So if the left function from here, it says the first three are plus 2, 3, 4, replace it with plus. If this is not the case here, then check the next if. The next if says that you should check the number from the left, count one number. If the first number is 0, replace it with plus 2, 3, 4, and then add it up with the right. So this is meant to be a concat. And first of all, this is the len function. The len function, what it does is that it counts the number of digits in your value. For here now, 080, normally a number is supposed to be 11, right? Then 11 minus 1 is going to be 10. So if the number is 11, so minus 1 and to be 10, then it will join it back to your plus 2, 3, 4, right? And then if that is not the case, simply start with plus 2, 3, 4 and concat it for us. So, and that is how we are able to get what we are having here. So I think what you should do is at the end, you take it bit by bit. So what we can do now is to do a simpler if statement, just for us to practicalize if before we move on. So now over here, I will just put these numbers 20, 30, 56, 23, and here I'm going to use if statement to do something. So I will do if the number here, now this number here, if this number here is greater than let's say 5, right? Something should happen. You should call it bulky. Now, if this number is not greater than 5, you should call it what? Regular. So for a string, you enclose strings in double quotation mark. And then see what happens. It checks 2 is not greater than 5, so that is why it returns as regular. If I click this flash fill, it automatically apply the formula to every other thing. So now it checks this 2. 2 is not greater than 5, it returns it as regular. 3 is not greater than 5, it returns it as regular. 20 is greater than 5, it returns it as bulky, because that's the condition we gave it. So the essence of if is that if checks a statement, it checks the condition you gave it. If that condition is met, it does something for you. First of all, this is the logical test. If A2 is greater than 5, is a logical test. If it is true, do something for me, return bulky. If it is false, return regular. That's the first thing. Now, if we wanted to do a nested if, we will just continue with another if over here, which was what we did in our data cleaning. Nested if. So why did we use nested if? It's because we had so many cases of inconsistencies. We had the case where it started from +2, 3, 4. We have the case where it started from just 0. We have the case where it started from just 2, 3, 4. So we needed to cover all these cases. That's why we are using nested if. I don't know if that makes sense. If the condition you are trying to solve is just one, just like what we have here, you use a single if. If the conditions you are trying to meet are multiple, you use nested ifs, right? So that's just how if works. So we'll just continue, right? So that's like how you handle your number. We handle these things using the if statements. So now that we have this number, you can decide to like delete this particular row. But now see what happens. If I delete this particular row, column, I mean, by using control minus. If I delete this particular column by using control minus, it's going to flag a reference error for me. Why? Why is it flagging this reference error? Because the column I was referencing to do this particular calculation has been deleted. So that column of E2 is not seeing it again. That's why it's throwing up an error. So how do you prevent this? To prevent this, what you need to do is like, first of all, you copy it. Now, after copying it, you right click, and there's so many paste options. This one is to paste it. If you paste it, it's like when you delete it, the error will still come back. That's the normal pasting. So what I will do is that I will paste as value. What paste as value does for me is that it just paste that value without the underlying formula. Let's check it out. So over here, I can do Ctrl Shift plus. So let's copy it. First of all, I'll highlight it, right? I'll use my Shift, Control, arrow down. to copy it. Then after copying it, I want to paste it on top of the old one we had before. So I'm going to right click. Now when I right click, I'm going to use the paste as value option, and now it has pasted this thing as value. The formula are not beneath again, just the results that we are seeing on the surface here. Just the result that we are seeing on the surface here, right? So I can now go ahead and just delete this particular column and nothing will happen. So let me illustrate what I did before. For instance, if you click here, you are seeing an underlying formula beneath it. And if by mistake I delete this particular, it's going to flag an error. Why? It's flagging an error because the column that we were referencing has been deleted. So how do you make it to be consistent along the way so that it does not keep flagging an error? You use Control and paste as value. If you paste as normal, the formula will still be there. So I will undo what I have here. What I want to do now, I want to just be seeing regular, bulky, without a formula underneath them. So how do I do it? I will highlight them by holding my Control Shift down arrow. I will Control C. If I come here, I'll right click and I will paste as value. Now, check out these two things. When you click here, there is a formula beneath it. But when you click here, the formula is not there. It's just showing the results of the calculation that you did before. And that's how you can prevent that reference error. How to keep your data consistent, right? So even if I go ahead and delete what I have here, you can see that this one is having the reference error, but the one we pasted as value is not having that reference error. And that is the what we are trying to do, right? So now the next thing to do is that we are going to handle blank cells. If you check here, we are having some blank cells in our data set. Blank cells means missing cells. Like over here, this is blank, right? And over here, this is also blank, and this is also blank. So what do you do when you have a blank cell? There are so many things that can cause a blank cell. First of all, maybe entry mistakes. When you are typing something, you might think you typed it, meanwhile you did not type it. That's a mistake. Or in cases where, like I said, the promo, if this data set is about to give away and they said if you buy 5, you receive 1 free. Now, maybe this mattress was the free product that the person got. Automatically, or let's logically, we are not supposed to put the price, because if we put it, it's going to affect the money we realize from it, because we are not trying to calculate the price for the giveaway. It's a promo, so it's not paid for, so the price should not be there. That's why this place is missing. And in that case, the logical thing to do is to replace it with 0. That's why I said you need to understand your data set from the onset, because it will help you to decide how you treat your missing values. Some people will tell you that if you're missing value, it is not much, you should delete them from the data set. But in real life, that is going to cause a very big issue. So I'm just going to like give us three ways to clean missing value, right? Um, After cleaning missing value, we are going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we will continue. So if you have like questions that you wish to ask, you can drop it in the chat so that we'll tackle it immediately we are done with our 5 minutes break. So now, how do you clean missing value? The first thing is to replace it with zero. How do you know when to replace it with zero? When you are sure that you understand your data set and it is zero that is meant to be there. For instance, the promo case. Another way you can do is to replace it with what? The median or the mean. So you can replace the blank cells or missing cells with the median or the mean. How? First of all, I want to sort this thing. Right, I want to filter. So to filter, you click this drop down and then uncheck select all and check only blank cells. Particular problem at 3 blank cells. That's going this way. See everything, still check and okay. So now I'm seeing my holder. This is how you filter. Filter, you click and you click on select and check all down. Right? For 2 years. And then along the line, the last person now use like 10 years to be older than the next. Obviously, that is an outlier. Yes, there is a recorded session for everything. The session is recorded, right? So now, when you have in your data set, you replace the missing values with the mean. We are going to demonstrate. So now, how do you check? How do you actually check and know there's an outlier? The first thing to do is just manually look it up. If your data set is not too much, you can look it up. But if it is too much, you cannot really check everything. So in that case, what do? You said you can't hear me. Please, can anyone else not hear me? Please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, indicate that you can hear me. Okay, it was breaking. Is it better now? Alright. Alright. So I think it's better right now. So we are talking about replacing values. Alright. So we are talking about replacing your missing values with the mean or the median. When there is an outlier in your data set, you replace with mean. When there is no outlier, you can use any of them. So how do you know there is an outlier? The first thing I'm going to do is to calculate the mean of this particular column. To calculate the mean of this particular column, to do that, I'm going to use my equal to sign, right? And if I use my equal to sign, I'm going to use a formula. Let me continue writing this formula from my formula bar. See where I am now. So I can use the average, right? Average is the same thing as mean. There is no function as mean in Excel. So if you want to calculate your mean, you use the average function. So I will use the average. I will double click. And what am I averaging? I'm averaging the range of this to the last part. So I'm doing this by holding down my shift control and then close it off, and this is the average. So the average of the price is 263. That's the average of the price. What if I want to check the median? I can change this formula towards median. So now, if I change the formula to median and I click enter, the median is 60. So we had our mean as 261 and we have our median as 60. 261 is very far away from 60. So when your mean is very far away from your median, you will know there's an outlier in your data set. Let me repeat. When the mean is very far off from the median, it indicates that there is an outlier in your data set. And remember, when there is an outlier in the data set, we should replace it with what? With the mean. When there is no outlier, you can choose the median or the mean, anyone. But now we already know that there is an outlier in our data set, right? So what do? Over here, we can now say find and replace. So we can use the find and replace function by using Ctrl H. Now we are finding places where there are blank cells and we are replacing it with the median, which we calculated as 261. So we now replace all, right? So all done, we made 13 replacements. So now we have replaced all the missing values with 261, which is the median, right? Do we get that? If you got that, please comment that you got that. How to handle missing values. So this is just how to handle missing values. Either you replace it with 0, depending on the case, or you replace it with your mean or your median. You use mean when there is an outlier in that particular column, and you use median when there is no outlier, right? Just take a deep breath. Somebody is saying Omo. Take a deep breath, and with practice, you're not going to carry everything along today. I know it's much, right? It's a lot to take in for the first day, but like I said, you are not going to sleep in the boot camp. We want you to be up and running. So the good thing is that you can replay the recorded sessions, and when you replay it, you can go over these things by yourself. Right? Okay, so that settles it. So the for the remaining columns, this is the quantity column. It also has missing value, but you are going to do that by yourself as an assignment. This discount also has missing value. You are going to do that by yourself as an assignment, just so I will know if you can handle missing value by yourself, right? So we just simply continue with other stuff that we have going on. So now, under this price, we are still seeing that there are still some other inconsistencies. Like here, this is 800 USD. So we can just manually clean these particular ones by ourselves because they are not really much. So this is 250, and you can just simply write 250. So the next thing to do now, remember, task number 1 is that you are cleaning the quantity column and the discount column. Replace the missing value, handle the missing value properly, and we are still going to discuss how you are going to submit the assignment, right? So we are going to clean the quantity table and you are going to clean the discount table. I wanted us to wrap everything about data cleaning up for this class, but it's obvious that we are not going to do that because we are still in the numerical data cleaning and we just have 29 minutes left. So let's just make sure that we tackle numerical data cleaning first. Then maybe in subsequent class, we can handle the textual data transformation and the date transformation. Is that okay? Okay. So we are done with handling missing value for this particular column. So for this assignment I gave you, what I expect you to do is, first of all, check the median value for the quantity table. You write it down. Check the mean. You write it down. If the mean value is far away from the median, it indicates that there is an outlier. And if there is an outlier, replace this missing value using the median. So you will just use Ctrl H, then replace with, you write the mean value that you got, and that will be all you need to do. You do the same thing for the discounts. Do we get that? Do we get that? Hello? Are we still here?
Yeah, we are here. We're with you.
Yes, you're still here.
Yes,
Okay, I think I should just take your questions because I think it's getting overwhelming for most of us. So if you have your questions, you can drop it in the chat.
for the status, we have paid, pending, and it can also be counted. Can we leave it as general or can we change it?
So I'm waiting for the question. Somebody said, I really can't say I understood everything. No, I'm not expecting you to understand everything in one day. Please, can you repeat the mean and median replacement? Do we really have time to do that again? I think that is why we have the recorded session, right? But I'm just going to do it again, just so we can demonstrate it. Even if that is what you picked today, it's something. So I'm not expecting that you get everything all at once. Okay, someone is already answering the question. Use Ctrl H after finding whether there is exactly. I like that. Thank you, Amarachi. So you can keep your questions coming, and if you have answers to them, please kindly help us out with them. So like I said, the first thing you do is to check the mean. Write it down. You check the median. You write it down. You check if the mean is far away. By far away, I mean, are they closely in range, right? If your mean is 5, if the median is 5 and your mean is like 30, obviously, okay, Amarachi, the person that asked the question. Okay, I'm trying to explain. So let's undo what we did here. Okay, now we are back to what we were having before. We have the missing value. I want you to do this by yourself. That's why I don't want to touch it. We are back to the missing value, right? Good. First of all, I'm going to calculate the median. But before I calculate the median this time around, let me handle these inconsistencies. Let's handle these inconsistencies so that to calculate everything at once. Alright, so now this is the place where we are doing the calculation, this particular cell. So the median is still 69. How did I do it? I used a function called median. It's an inbuilt function in Excel already. So when you write median, you select the column range. Remember, we are interested in one particular column. You select it. So let's just delete it and do it together. Remember, start with equal to sign, then your median, right? You open your bracket. And I'm interested from the I column, I2. How did I know that this is I column? Look at it, I, and this is row 2. So this is I2. I will put my ratio sign, right? And where does this thing stop? It stops at I29. So I can do I29. Now it has selected all of these things for me. If I did not want to manually write it out, because most times your rows are going to be as lengthy as 1000 or more. If I don't want to write it out that way, what I will simply do, I will simply go here, click on I2, hold my shift, hold my control, then I will press my arrow key downwards. I'll keep pressing it till I reach where I want to. So now I will close it, and the median is what? 69. What if we want to calculate the mean? I'll copy this formula by using Ctrl C. Remember, if I paste this thing, we do not do paste as value, so it will copy the formula too. Remember what we talked about, pasting as value and just pasting as normal, the way you paste stuff, right? So we paste normally, and then over here I'll just change it to mean, because that is what I want to calculate this time around. Remember that in Excel there is nothing like mean. If you want to calculate mean, you use your average. So you have average, and I'll click my enter. So now if you take a look at these two numbers, this is my median, this is my mean. 287 is is very far away from 69, and that makes me know that obviously there is an outlier in this data set. There is an outlier in this data set. I can identify these outliers the way they are now. 1200 is far away from 6045, so it's obviously an outlier. Outliers are numbers or anything that is very different from a group. If in your family everybody is fair, only you that is dark, you are an outlier. If you go to the office, everybody is fat, and only you are slim, you are an outlier. So outlier is something that is very different from the rest of the other data sets. And because it's very different from the rest of the other data sets, it skews the data. I'm trying not to use like technical terms. It skews data. Skewing means like it makes it go extreme. There's something that is called right skewing and left skewing. Left skewing means if you take it to the negative side of it, extreme negative. Right skewing means if you take it to the extreme right positive, like extreme positive. And in this case, it's skewing it to the right because he said, I am not understanding this again. Okay, just take a deep breath first. Do you understand how we got the mean? Do you understand how we got the mean? If you understood how we got the mean, just indicate. Okay, do you understand how we got the median? Okay, you understood how we got both of them. Good. Now, do you realize that 69 is very different from 289? Like, they are so far away. 69 times 2 will still not give you 289. So the difference between them is so much. Exactly. So because it is now, because the difference between the mean and the median is very different, that's how we know there's an outlier in the data set. And the condition is that once there's an outlier in your data set, you use the mean to replace it, to replace the missing values. So now how do we now replace? How you replace is just highlight the column you are you're interested in, use Control H. It will bring out this menu for you. It's telling you find what? What are you finding? I'm finding blank spaces. That means I will leave this place blank. Replace with, what am I replacing with? I'm replacing it with the mean. And the mean we got is what? 287, I think. Then you click on replace all. So it will tell you now, all done. We've made 12 replacements. So I'll click OK. Now, when I click OK, I will close this. And in every place where there are missing values, it will replace it with the median. With the mean, I mean, sorry. Did you get that part? Did you get that part? Okay, how do we identify there is no outlier? The opposite becomes the case. If the mean and the median are close in range, assuming the mean is 69 and the median is something like 80 or 100, 69 is closer to 100. That is how you know that there is no outlier. In that case, you can decide to use 100 or you can decide to use 69. Did you get that? Yes, exactly. You input the median instead. You can use the median or the mean. In this case, if there is no outlier, anyone can serve the median or the mean. Is it possible for them to be the same? It's very rare. It's possible, but it's very rare for them to be the same. Like very, very rare. Okay. So, any other question? Any other question that we need to take? If you have questions, just drop them. Drop them. So far, it's what we've done. So, is there a limit for it? I didn't see the menu. Okay. So usually said using any of them will affect the authenticity of the data, considering they are not the same figures. Okay, now here is the thing. In most cases where your data is not having an outlier, right? You either have your mean or the median, and they are closely in range. So now, remember, this is a missing value. You are using an estimate. There is no way you are going to get the exact value that is supposed to be there because you don't really know the exact value. So you are not working with an estimate. That you use the mean does not even mean that that's the exact value that should have been there if it was not missing. You are just using an estimate. But now, because you are working with data, you are trying to use an estimate that is so close to the reality. That's why you don't just assume any number. You can ask yourself, why are you not using the mode? Because there is mode. Why aren't you using the mode? Mode is like the most frequently occurring number, right? So using the mean or the median when there is no outlier does not reduce the authenticity of the data, because in either case, you are not really getting the exact estimate. You are using a rough estimate, and because there is no outlier, any of them can serve. He said if they are the same, no replacement to be made, right? If they are the same, you use one of them. If they are the same, you use one of them. So no, we are supposed to change it because we are calculating. So I think there is no other question, right? Can you please tell me the assignment? My network is fluctuating. Okay, payment status can also be counted or calculated. Can it be changed? So the status we're having here is in text. We are supposed to do a calculated field, right? Calculated field where we are supposed to get the total price. You can simply quickly do that so that you can see how calculated fields are done. It's part of the numerical data cleaning, just that some people were getting overwhelmed, so we decided to just take a pause. So I can just add another column by using my Shift Control Plus, right? But before that, I'm supposed to convert this number to be an absolute value. How? This is a quantity column. Usually, you cannot tell me that you go to a superstore and buy -2 items. Is it possible? No. So that's why, like I said in the beginning, you need to understand the data set you're working with. You cannot buy a -7 item. So in this case, this is obviously a typographical error. Maybe the person used to put a hyphen when putting in the numbers and it appears this way. So what do? You need to clean it also, make them positive number. If it was price, you could have said, okay, maybe minus means debit, right? But somebody buying something in quantity, there is no way you're buying -1,000 quantity. So it's obviously a typo error, and that is something you need to clean. So to clean it, you can use the absolute value function. There are two ways. Use the absolute value function or use a formula, right? So what do we do? So if I use the absolute value function, which is just ABS, I don't really know if this ABS is working for Excel 2013. If it's not working, you are going to use the formula that I'm going to show up in the screen next. So I can just open my brackets and highlight this, close it, and enter. So now you can see that automatically it changes the absolute value to positive number. It changes the absolute value to positive number. And this is what we want because quantity cannot be negative, right? Now, what if we don't want to use this absolute that say for your Excel the absolute value is not working? What do? We can use a formula, a calculated formula, right? And what we can do is that we can use an if statement again. So how do we do it? I'll add another column, Control Shift Plus, okay? And over here, I can use the if statement equal to if the value we have here is less than 0. Remember, anything that is less than 0 is obviously negative, right? So that's what we are saying. The condition is that if this is less than 0, we should multiply it by -1. If it is less than 0, obviously it is minus, it is carrying minus. So in that case, we would say J2 multiply -1. If that is not the case, simply return J2 for me. So this is like a very simple if statement. I believe this one is very explanatory for everybody, right? Because it's not nested. It's just a simple if statement. If this is true, do this. If it is not true, do the other one. So if the quantity here is less than 0, anything that is less than 0 is obviously on the negative side. Then if it is true, times it by -1. If it is not true, return that particular value you're having in that cell. So I'll close it and I'll click my enter, and it will still give us the same value that the absolute value function gave us. Did we get that part? Did we get this part? Then now what's the problem? Your system is not cooperating. Okay, so sorry about that. You cannot always, it's lagging. So sorry. You can always like replay. I think you can always replay, right? So I think with that, please Linda, can you share the attendance for us to mark attendance while we take the last questions? So the last thing to do is that I'm going to share two things today. First of all, I'm going to share the material where I did like a documentation of this whole process, written down step by step with a screenshot attached. So if you are the type that likes to learn from reading, you will flow. I'm also going to share the video so that you can watch and practice with it, right? And then finally, there's an assignment. The link to this assignment is inside the document that I'm going to share. So you must download the document. The assignment, the link to it is inside this documentation I wrote for the whole process that we are doing today, even the documentation for textual data cleaning. So when you download that document, you would see the link in it. If you click it, then you are able to do the assignment, right? So you can go ahead and take your attendance. The key code for today is 2. Key code is 2. So the key code for today is 2, right? It's the same link that we used yesterday. If you are not able to find it, I can reshare it. Attendance link is the same for yesterday. All right. Okay, now, so you have 3 assignments. The first one is clean the missing value in the quantity column, clean the missing value in the discount column, and then do the main assignment in the documents that will be shared, right? I'm going to include the assignment in that document, so just make sure you download the document. The assignment is going to be stated clearly. Once you download the document, you should be able to see the assignment. All right. How do you get the link? The link is already shared in the group. Nena, are you able to share the link? Or do you need my help? So now, there is something that they say, practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. If you do not practice, there is no way you'll be good at it. For everything that we did today, I urge you to practice them. Data cleaning is one thing you can't run away from. I'm going to reshare the link. Don't worry, Nena. I will reshare the link. So data cleaning is something you can't run away from. So the earlier you practice with them, the better, right? Okay, so I'm trying to share the link for the attendance. So this is the attendance link. It's shared again. We already took note of yesterday's attendance, so don't even bother yourself filling it in if you did not do that yesterday. So we already take notes of people who did the assignments. I made sure I went through your posts LinkedIn one by one. If I didn't go through your post, that means probably you did not tag me. If I didn't go through your post, probably did not tag me. So I went through your posts one by one and commented, right? So this is the attendance. So you can sign for today. So in the absence of any other question, I think you can draw the curtain here. You can drop your feedback in the chat. Drop your questions and I'll make sure to attend to them. The key code is 2. Alright guys, thank you all for coming to today's class. Please make sure to practice, right? If you have any issue, drop it. If you're So the class will be ending now, and a short to do your assignments. Alright, thank you for coming today. See you guys on Tuesday.